Welcome to the Bribie Tri race report. Currently making some protein banana pancakes. It's 10 o'clock and I haven't eaten yet, so I'm pretty hungry and I'm just recovering from the race. I recovered pretty well after Mooloolaba. Legs were still a little bit heavy and sore. By Wednesday I was feeling about 80%. I did my training session Wednesday and I actually felt really good. Well, I didn't feel good leading into it, but my times were good, so I felt good because my times were good. Then I tapered off Thursday, Friday, freshened up Saturday, race Sunday. We stayed at Nan's again, drove up Saturday after work, and yeah, had Gardner vegan satay tofu for dinner. Very nice, very good. It worked a charm. I only pooed 5 times this race, not 6, so winning. Race, registered. It's cool when it's a small town local kind of vibe at the races. It makes it feel a lot less stressful because going into Bribie, I've never raced there before, and the course is quite hectic. I put up a little snapshot of what the course looks like about here. And I didn't know where all these turns would be or how hard to take them. I didn't even do the course before the race, which would have been a really good idea. I just didn't have time. I finished work at 4 o'clock Saturday. We drove up, it was night time by the time I got to Nan's. Drove to the race. Didn't feel like getting up any earlier than what we had to, so I just thought hopefully there'd be someone close to me I can ride with. And I was running around in the morning trying to find people who had done the race before, and I reckon half the people had never done this race before because everyone, I was like, hey, I've done this before, I'm just trying to figure out where to go, what to do. And they're like, oh no, it's actually my first time as well. And I was like, oh my god. But I found a guy, he showed me where the turnaround point was, so that was great. And I felt pretty confident from there. I had no idea who was racing. I did manage to see Oscar Dart warming up before the race, so I was like, perfect. Someone's going to lead this race and I'm not going to get sent the wrong way. The plan was to swim with him, and this other young kid, there's actually quite a few Triathlon Queensland young guns there, so it kind of made me feel like the old dog that was like setting the standard as, you boys better beat me because I'm an old man. I'm 25, and I felt old. Like half of these kids are still in school, and I think 2 of them have just finished school, so it made me feel a little bit old, but I'll give it to them, make them work. The swim conditions were horrific. I don't think anyone ever actually swims at Bribie outside of an event, especially where we swim. And to give you an idea, it was like 30 km/h southerly winds just humming across the bay. Thankfully the same direction as the tide, so we ended up tide and wind assisted swim, which was great, and really close to shore because of how hectic the conditions were, just because of the safety of the non-professional athletes out there. I do understand that, I do respect that, and especially when we're racing the same race as them, which is really cool. If it's a different story and the pros are racing a different race to the not professional athletes and the conditions are quite rough, I do expect them to send the professionals out in hard conditions because we're professional, we're meant to be able to deal with it. But that's another topic. Yeah, I felt really good going into the swim. I had my Cliff Bar when I woke up before driving there. Cliff Bar an hour before the race start. Got in, did a couple little swim tests. Couldn't see anything in the water, just brown. Really, really choppy. I felt really good actually going against the chop, just because I had quite a high shoulder range of movement, turnover. I felt really good. But we were swimming with the chop, and I found that I was breathing in my warm-up. The wind was coming back into my face. So I figured, oh well, I'm going to get a fair bit of ocean in me today. We got on the start line and I picked my spot. I was in the middle of the bunch, and then the race director person, I think he was, or the swim start organizer, he was like, all right, everyone, that side of me. Wait, he would have been facing this way, so he was like, that side of me. So I was like, oh yes sir, all right, I've walked that way, and no one else walked anywhere. So then I'm on the outside of the pack, trying to have to turn to the right, so I've got the longest way to go, one of the slowest swimmers, and I didn't realise how much I cooked it until I saw this clip. As you can see, if you can't see, I'm the one on the far outside having to do extra work. And the guys already turned the buoy before I'm even like swimming, and I'm still porpoising out to the water. So I really stuffed up there. Just a strategical error, that one. I don't usually like being on the inside just because as you turn the buoy, everyone swims on top of you. I don't enjoy that. But with this small group of like 10 of us, I figured it would be okay. I should have been on the inside. There was 3 guys who broke away in a swim, and then me and two guys behind me, and then kind of like filtered really shortly between everyone else from there. So it was good. It was close. The guys up ahead, I haven't checked the time. I know they were less than 30 seconds because I caught Ethan within the first 5Ks, I think. I have no idea of what the distance was as I was racing, but I'll go with it. And then I was like, oh, maybe they're not too far ahead. But who was up front? Oscar, and I feel so bad, I forget the guy's name who came second. Young TQ kid. They had a good gap. I wish I had come out of the water with them. It would have been so good because they were on road bikes, like ITU bikes. I was on my TT bike because I figured, oh well, I'm pretty good at handling this bike, and there is 2 straights, so I'll just hum it through there. The course it was very technical, but it wasn't hard corners. You could still go hectic hard into the corners and pick good lines. The road surface was amazing. Massive shout out to the council and the local area for having such clean roads, no dirt or anything on any of the roads, except one corner there was leaves and stuff from the tree, but that's okay. And for the locals letting us close off so much of their road, it was all these side streets in their houses, and like they were still able to get out, but they didn't, or they were already out, and like we pretty much changed their Sunday plans on them. But yeah, super thankful for that. Just gonna flip some pancakes. Oh, ready? Sizzle, sizzle, baby. The bike course was really fun. I actually loved the course because you could go hard through the corners.
Oh,
When
nice.
you hit the straights, I knew that the young ITU boys, they train for this hard turn sprint thing, but in doing that, they do lose a little bit of the strength on the straights. And being on the TT bike, I knew I had that advantage over them. So as soon as we hit the straights, it was sprint, tuck down as low as I could, and go as hard as I could. I definitely didn't pace myself at all on the bike. It was just hard, go as fast as you can. And I made up a little bit of time on the front guys, which I'm really grateful for because I was way too far behind. And it put me close enough to feel like I was still in the race. Pretty good on the bike, I think. Came off the bike into T2, and I told Dad I wanted to know the time between me and the guys ahead, and he was giving me the time of Oscar, who was quite a way in front. And I wanted to know the guy who was in second, but I was too to tell him I wanted second place time difference. I'm not too sure what it was, but I did close a fair bit of gap on second place on the bike, and I think I might have held even with Oscar on the bike.
Go, Trav.
2 minutes, Travis, from the leader.
So we got into the run. I could see old mate like a couple 100 meters ahead. I was like, maybe if he's not a good runner or he blows up, I can do this. In my head, I knew I needed to run 3:05 pace. I have done this for 3 kilometers. I've done faster for 3 kilometers, but I haven't held it for 5 kilometers before. My fastest 5K was 3:08 pace. So I was like, all right, time to run a 5K PB, and I felt really good. Brett did an activation session on me the day before, helped me get even more fine-tuned in my body, and I was like, yeah, I think I can drop a PB. So I went out hard to catch old mate. We got to the turnaround point, and I had no idea whether I'd made up time or not because I hadn't had time check before that. We turned into the headwind, and I was like, oh, that's why I felt so good on the way out. We turned around to the headwind, and I've been practicing, or it's been on my mind about shorter, quicker strides, because I am quite a long strider, which does help with the tailwind and when you're going hard. But when you're going into a headwind or uphill, or you're feeling tired, a shorter, quicker cadence ends up being way more efficient. Kind of look at the long course guys. Like I look at Steve McKenna as his run form. He's a real short cadence guy, and it works for him. So maybe it works for me. So I did that coming back into the headwind, hoping that the young kid didn't have the same mongrel as I've learnt over the years. I think he did. He's a really strong fella. I didn't, again, coming back, it's a different bit. I didn't quite know whether I was catching or gaining. I thought I was catching, and I was like, all right, this will be good. We turned into the tailwind again, and I was like, all right, go, because as soon as you turn around, it's going to be hard to get as close to him as you can along this tailwind stretch, and then hopefully we can have a massive mad sprint finish at the end. But unfortunately I didn't catch him before the turnaround. I did get really close. I haven't checked the times, but we came in, I think, maybe 10 seconds behind.
Far away, these guys have been racing really well all morning. Travis not having the quick swim, but he rode really hard. He's run really hard as well. Let's welcome to the line your podium for Bribie Tri race number 4. Travis Coleman, 3rd across the line
I was
today.
on the hunt. I managed to drop the fastest run split of the day. It was actually really hard to run that fast after such a hard technical bike, but I loved it. I loved being in the mix, having a few guys ahead, a few guys behind. Finished 3rd. Pretty stoked with where the body's at. I feel about 80% recovered, just a little tight in hips and glutes from the running and the bike, I guess. Lats are a little locky, but I've got osteo zone tomorrow, so they'll sort me out. I'll be back in full back training 2 weeks before Gold Coast ITU Com Games qualifier, so hopefully I make the swim pack. I will make the swim pack and bike pack, and then I'll have a hectic hard run and pass out. I'll be back in my normal form of giving it absolute everything. But my pancakes are almost ready. I'll show you what they look like. Pretty good. So it's time to tuck into those, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.